And you were also at some point an extra in Miracle of Santa Ana.
Yeah, I mean, that was.
What was that like? That was like, because you were gone for a while.
We spent 3 months in Italy on that movie. That was a story in itself that I still hope Spike tells that story somehow, some way. Like, he brought 30 of us from Brooklyn. All of us, some of us knew each other, but for the most part, he wanted to be surrounded by people he knew. So he brought 30 of us from Brooklyn to play the Buffalo Soldiers in the movie. So we went through boot camp for 2 weeks, like had to give all our electronic devices and all that. He put us on top of a mountain on this barracks in Italy to stay for 2 weeks by ourselves. With, you know, we went through, even with the actors, with Derek Luke and Michael Ealy and all that, we had to go through boot camp like we were 1944.
So it was like rations soldiers. And all that?
Yo, they fed us like shit. It was an experience, man. It was an experience.
Was the experience worth it?
Oh yeah, everything is always worth it. I thought at least it would have been on like the DVD because they shot a lot of it. Like we literally had to learn how to shoot the guns. We had to do the whole shit.
So did you have to walk around with like all of the the bags? And
we didn't have. We had our uniforms for those 2 weeks. We were.
So you didn't.
It was 1944. Yeah, it was 1944 for us. You know what I'm saying? Like all the technology was gone, all of that stuff. And there's 30 black men that didn't know each other for the most part.
That's what I
having to learn to.
That's method acting.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yo, it even got to the point where the German extras were going through the same thing, and they made us hate each other.
So in the movie, there was some like serious hate.
And I heard that Spike did that in School Days with the light skin and the dark skin jigaboos, and he separated them in hotels. He had so it's like he did the same thing he did to them in School Days to us. So I was just like, oh man, I'm feeling like part of this history. And then the good thing is when we did have, in between, he would come up to the mountain and bring movies. So we was watching like German propaganda films. So we're in a mountain in Italy watching German propaganda films with Spike Lee.
Like you're in barracks, so like he just brought like a little.
But you can't.
DVD player?
You can't. Yeah. He had a little projector and a screen that they brought out when he was doing it. So that was ill. But I knew the significance of what we was doing, so it wasn't. To me, I was just enjoying every minute of it.
Were there tears?
I'm sure one motherfucker cried out, snuck in the woods in the back and cried. I'm talking about on top of a mountain, no lights, no nothing. Wild horses were running around. I remember one night we all got awakened because wild horses was in the garbage. I got pictures of all of this shit. Like wild horses was in the garbage. Eating the garbage.
And what's it like working with Spike? Like, what's the difference between Spike's work ethic and Stephen King?
Steven Spielberg. Yeah,
what's the difference?
No, Spike. Everybody brings their A game with Spike. He runs his thing like a well-oiled machine. He could be temperamental. He's an artist just like any other person. I've heard stories, but I myself have always had pleasant experiences with it.
What about Spielberg? Was there a difference
Spielberg,
between the way they
I had a chance to work directly next to him one day out of the 4 months because we were mostly in the office and the fitted rooms and all that other stuff. But the day that cool ass dude, he had a snorkel on. Like he had a snorkel, cool ass dude, Like he flew in every morning in a helicopter. Because he lived in Connecticut. I think he lived in Connecticut or something.
Where was he landing?
Some field. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of this stuff is just a blur. Like it's so much stuff happens to you when you're in the midst of it, and it just you in it. And then afterwards is when you realize what the hell you just experienced.
Have you ever thought about like writing a book about everything that you've been through?
Now is the time. Now is the time, right? Yeah, now is the time. I ain't even finished the story. Yo, Big passed while I was out in Rhode Island. Big got shot while I was in Rhode Island. And I'm in Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island, with nobody who knew who the fuck Biggie was. So that hurt me. Like, I was hurt by that. Like, I wasn't in Brooklyn. I was like, damn, I'm not in Brooklyn. I was seeing when the funeral happened, all this other shit, and I'm sitting here and busting my ass like, yeah, man, I'm a Brooklyn dude, man. That hurt me. To this day, I still hurt by that, though. That I wasn't at least around Brooklyn for that. But I remember that call. I went, because we lived in the house, I went waking people up. They was like, what happened? So I'm like suffering by myself. You know what got me through that whole...
You're in the corner like, ah.
Yo, you know what got me through that entire experience was Erykah Badu's album.
I think he gets a lot of people through some moments.
That album got me through...
Was there a specific song or is it just the entire album?
That whole album just got me through that entire experience. That album, that one album. I would give that album that much credit, say it got me through that entire experience, because it was grueling. It was grueling.
Have you ever had a chance to meet Erykah Badu? This guy? Like, oh yeah.
And yo, you know it was so great about when I met her? I put my arm around her, you know, and she was like, damn, Brooklyn? She didn't know it was...
Well, she knew you. She just knew you.
She just said, she was like, you grabbing me like you from Brooklyn or something. Like a Brooklyn dude. I was like, that, you gotta know how much that like just fucking warmed my heart. Being a Brooklyn dude and finally meeting her, having to put my arm around her. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
And
I have a baby with her.
What?
I would.
You heard it here first. He wants to have her. Okay.
Yeah.